Welcome back to my channel. I am back with another Baddies USA review, so let's just get right into it because a lot happened in this episode. So Natalie has all the baddies gathered up together so that they can rehearse for their performances, and she gives out baddies chains to all the rest of the baddies that didn't have one, and then she gives out bad girl chains to all the bad girls that were there, which is really deserved because without the Bad Girls Club, there wouldn't be a baddies. And Summer is sitting next to Tommy, and she starts making comments about persuasion, and at first I was a little bit confused because I didn't think that Summer and Persuasion knew each other, and they didn't know each other, but apparently it's because Sway had some things to say about Summer getting the Bad Girls symbol tattooed on her chest, which I was kind of confused as to why she got the Bad Girls Club symbol tattooed on her chest too, because she wasn't on the show, but maybe she just likes it and she thinks it's cute. And I definitely do feel like Judy and Persuasion kind of over-exaggerated it. I don't think it was that big of a deal, but I don't think it was a big enough deal for them to fight either. So Summer ends up walking up on Sway, and Sway immediately starts swinging on Summer. Summer was drunk, so she wasn't really able to keep up that much with Sway. I'm not going to say that Persuasion just beat up Summer. She didn't, because she did kind of slip onto the couch a little bit and Summer was able to hit her, but I will definitely give the win to Persuasion because Persuasion definitely hit Summer way more than Summer hit her. Natalie does start questioning Summer as to why she fought Persuasion, because she wanted the rehearsal to go smoothly because she doesn't want them to make any mistakes during their performances. And Mariah Lynn immediately ends up calling Summer a hater during this back and forth between Summer and Natalie, and that's when Summer says to Mariah that she already beat her up. So Summer and Mariah Lynn start going back and forth about who beat who up, and that's when Summer ends up calling Mariah out for a fight. And so Mariah's trying to run over there, and Jayla runs over like security, and she grabs Mariah Lynn, trying not to let her go fight Summer. And that's when Ahna runs over there and she starts telling Summer to shut up. And Mariah Lynn was able to get out of Jayla's arms, and she ran over there and she popped Summer in the face, and Summer kind of slips back on the couch. Summer gets up really quickly though, and the two of them start fighting. Now, nobody won this fight in my opinion. They only got to swing a couple of times. It looks like neither one of them really did anything in my opinion, and I watched it in slow motion. So to me, nobody won that fight between Summer and Mariah, and honestly, I'm tired of seeing the two of them fight. But when security was trying to break up the fight between Mariah and Summer, Ahna runs over there and she starts trying to swing on Summer, and she said in her confessional, if Mariah fights, she fights. And I really don't like the idea of that, because I just feel like Ahna gets a lot of passes for jumping in her friends' fights, but when it was Summer jumping in Dolly or Lex's fights, or Dolly jumping in Summer's fights, everybody had something to say about it, and everybody made it seem like they were the worst people in the world because of the fact that they have jumped people before together. But when it's Ahna, Mariah Lynn, and Biggie, nobody says anything. Like, Ahna and Biggie have jumped people multiple times on the show, and they still get support, and nobody holds them to the fire for jumping people. But that would have been the big three that was jumping somebody, everybody would have had something to say. So Natalie ends up addressing Summer again after this fight between her and Mariah is broken up, and she tells Summer that how is she supposed to get on stage and do a performance with the rest of the baddies if her face is all messed up. And Summer's face was messed up. She had a couple of knots on her head, I think. She had her lip swollen. Like, when Tasiki popped her in the mouth, that made her lip blow up so big. And when Lex was trying to give that girl ice in last week's episode, Summer claimed she did not need it, but she definitely needed that ice. So I definitely understood where Natalie was coming from. But then Natalie says that she has another baddies chain to give out, and she says that she's giving it to Tommy because Tommy comes in and she definitely makes it entertaining when she shows up. Even though she only shows up for a couple of episodes, she definitely makes those episodes count, and I completely agree. I'm not a big fan of everything that Tommy does, but she's definitely entertaining, so I was glad that she got her chain. And DJ Sky gets so mad because Tommy ended up getting what she thought was the last chain, that she ended up walking off stage mad and pissy, acting like a big baby. And that's when Natalie tells her to come back because she also has a chain for her too. And that's when Sky comes running back to the stage all happy now, and it's like, girl, if I was Natalie, I would have made her wait a little bit longer to get her chain because she acted like such a big baby. And I mean, I get why she wanted a chain, because even though she's just the DJ, she still is a part of the Baddies franchise, but it also wasn't that necessary for her to have a Baddies chain because she's not going to be up there performing with the other girls. And Natalie's reasoning for giving out those last few chains is because she wanted all the baddies to wear one when they go on stage, so everybody looks like they belong together on stage. Now, after all of this, Natalie finally starts making the girls practice their performances, and Cold Killer goes first, and I'm not gonna lie, she did a good job. I think that she makes pretty good music. I'm not into it, but when I do hear her songs play on Instagram, I'm like, okay, she knows what she's doing. Like, this is what she does. And Tommy was showing a lot of love for her and telling her that because her song is so good, she should be the one to open the show, because she feels like Killer's song is basically describing all of the baddies on the show. I don't know if that's true, but I understand where Tommy was coming from. But Tinka goes up there and she performs her version of that song, and she gets into Killa's face while she's performing it. And I'm just over the two of them beefing over this song. Like, it's not either one of their songs. I think they both sampled the song from another artist. So I just feel like the beef about the song is just stupid and pointless. I heard both versions of the song, Tinka's and Killa's, and I like Killa's better, but I think Tinka did a good job too. So I just feel like it's stupid for them to beef about it. But then Gretchen goes up there to practice performing her song, and the song wasn't necessarily bad, I guess, to some of the baddies, but she did say the N-word a few times in the song, and the camera going to Jayla's face was funny to me because Jayla was trying not to say anything about Gretchen saying the N-word, even though you can tell that she wanted to. You can definitely tell that Jayla is growing a bit though, because if this was like a couple of seasons ago, she would have popped off on Gretchen on that stage, but she got on stage and she told Gretchen that she didn't want to say she liked the song, but she did like the song. I'm glad that they're not fighting about the whole N-word situation like they did a couple of seasons ago, because I felt like it was dragging on for too long. At this point, the word is in Gretchen's vocabulary. I don't agree with her using the word. I don't think she should even feel comfortable using it. I'm half black, like my mom's black, my dad's white, and I don't even use it. So for her to feel comfortable using it and she's not black, to me, I don't like that. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like seeing them fight over it either. Now, at some point, everybody was dancing and enjoying themselves, like dancing to each other's music. And then all of a sudden, Tommy gets on stage, okay, which this is the funny part of the episode. Tommy gets on stage and she's performing her song, and Tavy has Janelle bent over and she's like behind her, basically like dry humping her. Like, Tavy was doing entirely too much to Janelle. Like, even Janelle looked like she was overwhelmed with the way that Tavy was behind her, pumping her like that. Like, she was doing a lot. So Tommy notices this during her performance, and I'm trying not to laugh when I say this, but she starts saying on the microphone that Tavy reminds her of DMX, and I started dying laughing because I don't necessarily feel like it was just the fact that she was pumping Janelle like that from behind, but I also think it was because of the way that she was dressed the other day too, like what she was wearing. And Tavy did not like that at all. She did not like that, you know, Tommy called her DMX, and I can understand why she didn't like that. She's a woman. She doesn't want to be compared to a man. I completely understand, but I thought this was funny. Then Biggie's on stage and she's performing with Tasiki, and she falls flat, okay? She falls, and it looked like she fell hard. Like, she looked like she was hurt. We also started to see a little bit of tension between Chrisean and DJ Sky, because obviously DJ Sky is the one responsible for making sure everybody's song plays when they hit the stage, and Chrisean was saying that she wanted a new song to play, one that, you know, aligns with her relationship with God. And so she was telling DJ Sky what song to play, and DJ Sky started playing her song Vibe, which Chrisean said that she did not want to play. So you can tell that Chrisean was getting a little bit annoyed with DJ Sky. And just remember this situation because it comes back up at the end of the episode. But they bring the Baddies bus back. It's a really big Baddies tour bus. It's nicer than the one that they had before, in my opinion. I like it because it's black, but we know that they have issues every time they have a Baddies tour bus, and the way these girls fight, I don't know if it's a good idea to have them all together on a tour bus. And one of the tires end up popping on the tour bus, and this seems to happen every single time they have a bus on Baddies. It's like a curse. So the Baddies are on the bus on their way to go to New York, and Dolly, Summer, and Lex are sitting next to each other, and Rolly's talking to Summer, and she's telling Summer that she likes her because she's herself, but when she drinks, she does entirely too much. And listen, I understand that people like Summer because she's authentically herself, but that doesn't mean that she doesn't have things that she needs to work on, because just because she's herself doesn't mean that it's a good version of herself. I'm sorry, but that doesn't mean that it excuses her behavior just because she's authentic to who she is. Everybody has some things that they need to work on, and Summer definitely has a lot. But Dolly ends up cutting into the conversation, and she says that, you know, she loves Summer. They're locked in with each other, but she does have an issue with the way that, you know, Summer acts when she drinks too much. And that's when Summer says that her and Dolly are not locked in, and that she doesn't want to be friends with Dolly and Lex anymore. So Lex starts crying, and she tells Summer that a conversation needs to be had, and then Summer says that she doesn't need to have a conversation, she just doesn't want to be their friends anymore. So Lex starts crying, and she's kind of trying to figure out why Summer is saying this, because she thought that Summer was just too drunk, and that's the reason why Summer was acting the way that she was towards her and Dolly, and she just wanted to talk about the situation so that they can move on and continue being friends. But it's clear that Summer doesn't want that, and Lex seems to really be hurt about it, and she said in her confessional that her feelings were hurt. She said that she thought Summer was really her friend, and she didn't expect this to happen between them, and now Summer's saying that she doesn't want anything to do with her. She's saying that Summer's acting really cold towards her and Dolly, and it's just something that she didn't expect. And I see a lot of people saying that the reason why Lex was crying is because something more was between her and Summer, and I don't agree with that. Like, even if something did happen, I don't feel like that's the reason why Lex is crying. Lex is crying because because she thought that, you know, she had a real friendship with Summer, and now Summer's treating her like she didn't mean anything. So I would be upset about that too. Maybe I wouldn't have cried about it, but you know, Lex was in her feelings, and I don't feel like there's anything wrong with that. In fact, I feel like there's something wrong with Summer because she acted like she completely did not care about somebody who she claimed she cared about and who was her friend is crying in front of her wanting to save their friendship, and she's cold. So Summer starts saying that if she's the problem, she knows how to separate herself, and Dolly lets her know that she's not the problem, but the way that she acts when she's drunk is a problem, especially the way that she was acting towards them the other night. And look, I know what people are going to say. They supported Summer when she was drunk acting stupid on Baddies Midwest and Baddies Africa. Now all of a sudden they have an issue with it. But we never seen Summer treat Dolly and Lex the way that she treated them this season, so I feel like there's definitely a difference. And we also don't know what they talked about with Summer behind closed doors, because I remember that Lex and Dolly would go live sometimes and people would be in their comment sections telling them that they need to hold Summer accountable. And when they would tell people that they talked to her about their issues about what she does privately, people told them that it didn't count because nobody saw them do it, so there's no proof that they actually told Summer they didn't like her behavior. So I mean, they can't win, because now this time they're telling Summer to stop antagonizing Tasiki, to stay out of Tasiki's issues with Chrisean, and now everybody's saying that they should have checked her privately. Well, that's what they were doing before, and you guys had a problem with it. And it's like, also, people get exhausted at some point with people not knowing how to handle their alcohol, acting out when they're drunk and treating them some type of way. At some point, people reach their limit, and they didn't even reach their limit with Summer, because even after Summer treated them so badly in the last episode, they still wanted to talk and have a conversation with her, and it was Summer that said she didn't want to have a conversation and she didn't want to be their friend. And then Summer was acting really fake, and she claims that she's not fake, but to me, this situation was fake, because then Tinkerbella ends up getting on the bus right after she tells Lex that she doesn't want to be her friend anymore, and she starts asking Tinka what happened to her eye, and she starts being friendly, and they start laughing together a little bit. And I thought that was weird that Summer even asked, you know, Tinkerbella what happened to her eye, because she's the reason why Tinka's eye is like that in the first place, because she stirred up a fight between Dolly and Tinka, and Dolly popped Tinka in the eye. And it's like, how was she just calling out Tinka for being fake with Dolly and causing that fight between them, to now the next day she's laughing and kikiing with Tinka? That's weird. And Tinka starts asking Summer how she feels about Dolly and Lex right now, and she said that she doesn't feel any type of way, that they're the ones that have a problem with her, but it's like, no, you're the one that has a problem with them because they didn't jump in your fight with Tasiki. And that's what Lex and Dolly came out the other room and said to her. They're like, you do have a problem with us because that's why you're saying you don't want to be our friends anymore. Lex tells Summer that if anybody was able to calm Summer down, it should have been her and Dolly, because they're the ones who have stood by Summer even when she was wrong and everybody was against her. And so the fact that she calmed down for other people that are not even her friends, but she wouldn't calm down for Lex and Dolly and started pushing them and calling them names and now doesn't want to be their friends anymore, is weird to her. And that would be weird to anybody, because if me and my best friend were out and my best friend was acting out and she was flipping out and I was trying to calm her down and she wouldn't calm down for me and was pushing me and calling me names, but another girl who she barely knew came up to her and was trying to calm her down and she listened, I would feel some type of way too. I wouldn't probably end the friendship. I would want to talk about it when she was sober, but for her to do that to them, that's weird. And Lex tells Summer that she didn't know what she wanted her to do, because she said that she had already told Summer before they started filming that she did not agree with Summer coming at Tasiki the way that she was, because she felt like Summer should have stayed out of sister's business. And Summer said that she didn't want Lex to do anything. Okay, so then why are you mad at them then? If you did not want Dolly and Lex to jump in the fight between you and Tasiki, what is your issue with them? Because on the show, to Dolly and Lex's face and to all the other baddies, she's saying that she didn't want them to get involved in her beef with Tasiki, but then online on social media while the season is airing, she's saying that that is her issue with the two of them. So either Summer's being fake and she's lying and she really did want them to jump in the fight, or she got tired of Dolly and Lex and she wanted a reason for them to not be friends anymore. So pick which one it is. Then on the other bus, Biggie and Anna are going back and forth, which is no surprise to me, because people say that they fight like sisters. No, to me, they fight like people who don't really like each other and they tolerate one another. Like, they have love for each other, but they really don't fuck with each other like that. And to me, that's very clear. But I know people won't say that because they like Ahna and Biggie. Biggie is mad at Ahna because Ahna has her food on a seat in the Sprinter and she wanted to sit there, I guess, or she wanted to sit up in the front, and now she can't because of Anna's food being on a seat, which I think is a stupid reason to be fighting. I think Biggie was acting like a big baby in that situation. I don't know everything that happened, but when it comes to the situation about the food on the seat, I do think that Biggie was over exaggerating. But then Ahna and Biggie are playing around and Sapphire is joining in and they're laughing at Biggie because she fell on stage because of the heels that she was wearing. And Sapphire made a comment like that Biggie had, those heels on, and the heels were wearing out trying to hold her up all night, and that's the reason why she fell. And I feel like Biggie's feelings was probably a little bit hurt at the way that they were joking with her. She was laughing about it, but you can tell that she was probably more bothered by it than she admitted to, because, the way that she flipped out on Ahna afterwards didn't really make sense. Because she hit Ahna with a pillow or something first, and then when Ahna did it back, Biggie started going off on her and getting mad at her and telling her that she needs to stop because she's mad because her foot hurts. And so she started going off on Ahna. And she starts going off on Ahna even more because apparently Anna's the one that threw the water that landed on the stage that made Biggie slip and fall. I don't know if that's true, but it sounded like that's what she said on the Sprinter. So she was yelling at Ahna about that situation, kind of blaming her for falling. So at this point, I just feel like Biggie and Ahna really don't like each other. I know fans like them as friends, but I don't think they really like each other. I'm sorry. The things that they say to each other when they're mad proves to me that they don't really like one another. Everybody wanted to say that the big three weren't really friends. Well, I don't think Ahna and Biggie are really friends either. And DJ Sky and Chrisean start bickering a little bit too, because Chrisean feels like, Sky is just an industry friend and that she does things that's self-serving. And so she feels some type of way about DJ Sky. And she's trying to talk to her about it, but it's clear that Sky really doesn't want to have the conversation. Chrisean brings up a situation where she was getting her tattoo covered up on her neck and she was put to sleep because it was a neck tattoo. And she said that DJ Sky ended up taking a picture of her while she was unconscious and posting it on social media to get all the engagement and the clout from it, instead of waiting until she woke up to ask her if it was okay to post it. So that was an example of Chrisean feeling some type of way about DJ Sky. This is not the first time we saw Chrisean and DJ Sky get into it. I don't think they have a real genuine friendship either. And speaking of friendships that are not real, Natalie and Rolly end up having a conversation, and we know that they were beefing after Baddies Africa, and Rolly was on social media talking really negatively about Natalie. She did some interviews about her and everything, and then she ended back up on the show, and her and Natalie seemed to be cool with each other, and Natalie lets Rolly know that she doesn't want them to go public talking bad about each other. If they have an issue, she wants them to deal with it amongst each other. I agree with that. I don't feel like it's a reason for them to go on social media and beef back and forth for everybody to see, because we know that at some point they're going to end up cool again. So I think all the public beefing to me is stupid, because Natalie and Rolly beef all the time and then they end up cool again. Natalie did give Rolly her props. She told Rolly that she appreciates her and that if she's gone and she can't be there for the baddies, she knows that, Rolly can step in and she can handle things because she's good at it. And, Rolly said that she respected that, and that's all she wanted from Natalie, was to be recognized for what she brings to the show. So Natalie did that, and it seems like they're cool. Then Summer is outside in New York with Smiley and Gretchen, and they're asking her how she feels about Dolly and Lex right now, because when they were walking in New York, some of the kids ran up to her and asked her where Dolly and Lex were and that they love the big three, and they asked her if she was going to be willing to have a conversation with Dolly and Lex. And Summer did say that she would have a conversation with them, but Smiley did tell Summer that she was doing too much when it came to them when she was drunk, that she was being really mean to Dolly and Lex when all they were trying to do is help her. So she feels like she should have a conversation with them. Summer's not going to admit that she was wrong in that situation though, because she's been on social media damn near every day pointing out everything that she feels like Lex and Dolly did wrong. Even when the other baddies were telling Summer that she was the one in the wrong and that she was the one that was switching up on Dolly and Lex, she still didn't want to believe it. So to me, there's nothing that can be fixed. Now, Scotty, Tommy, Biggie, and Lex all end up in a room together, and Lex and Scotty start talking about their beef, and both Scotty and Lex admit that their beef started because Scotty and Ahna jumped Summer. And I really hate that Scotty and a lot of the other baddies and some of the fans didn't get the fact that the reason why Lex had a problem with Scotty is because Scotty jumped Summer with Ahna when they were in Hawaii, and then when they went to that final dinner in Hawaii, Scotty and Ahna once again tried to jump on Summer. So Lex wasn't going to call out Ahna for a fight because Ahna's smaller than her, but she called out Scotty to fight because Scotty and her are damn near the same size, and Scotty did not want to fight her, and security would not let Lex get to her. So the only opportunity that Lex had to get to Scotty was to sneak her when they got to Africa on the first night. So she snuck her because she knows that Scotty won't fight her head up, and security was not going to allow it to happen. That's why she fought her. Any other time that the two of them got into it during Baddies Africa was because Scotty kept addressing Lex in every situation that Lex was in. And I know that people don't like Lex and they like Scotty, but you have to admit, Scotty kept addressing Lex all last season. But look, I'm glad that Lex and Scotty squashed their beef, because honestly, I like both of them. They're both really pretty. They both seem like really nice girls who will fight if they have to, but it's not necessarily what they want to be doing. And I feel like they're both good-hearted people. Like, I can see their hearts in them on this show. Even though this show is about fighting, you can see that they both have really big hearts. So I'm interested to see the two of them get to know each other and be cool. This part of the episode was funny to me because they're all on the Baddies bus together, right? And Tommy out of nowhere starts asking if anybody has a problem with her, and everybody's looking at her like she's crazy because so far nobody's had an issue with her. And then she immediately starts addressing Tavy, saying that Tavy reminds her of DMX. Like, she said it again, and Tavy was obviously offended. And look, I'm not gonna say that she was wrong for being offended by that because, again, she's a woman and she doesn't want to be compared to a man. So she felt some type of way about it, and rightfully so. However, I think that it was funny that Tommy kept saying it. But I'm not gonna lie, Tavy was being very aggressive the way that she was dancing with Janelle. So that's the reason why Tommy said it, because the way she saw her dancing with Janelle. But Tommy gets in her confessional and she starts saying that she didn't mean any harm by saying that she looks like DMX. If she was trying to insult her, she would have said that she looked like the Ninja Turtle D'Angelo with the scarf off, and I could not breathe when she said that. I mean, I don't like making fun of these girls and the way that they look because I feel like they get attacked a lot on social media, so I try not to do that in my videos. However, what Tommy said was funny. But then Rolly starts addressing DJ Sky, and she tells her that she needs to be on point when she's DJing for these girls to do their performances because some of the girls are nervous that she'll mess up their songs while they're performing. And Sky felt some type of way about that because she feels like that's not true and that she's good at DJing, but we know that in the past she has messed up while these girls were performing. And that's when Chrisean immediately chimes in, and she said that DJ Sky was being weird about playing her song during the rehearsal as well because she told her to play a different song, and that's when Sky was trying to play the song It's a Vibe, and she felt some type of way about that. She felt like DJ Sky was trying to be funny. But DJ Sky said that when it was Taseki's turn to perform, Chrisean requested what song she wanted Taseki to play, and so when it was time for Chrisean to perform, Taseki went up to her and told her what song to play, and she told her to play It's a Vibe. That's why she started off playing that song at first. Chrisean is not trying to hear what DJ Sky has to say. You can tell that Chrisean really is not feeling Sky. She feels like Sky is fake towards her and that she's using her for clout. That's basically what she was saying. Now, Chrisean says that people are using her for clout all the time, so I don't know when somebody's really using her for clout or not because she says that about everybody. But I'm also not going to say that Chrisean is lying about Sky doing some fake things because, I mean, she knows Sky more than we do, so if she feels like Sky has been doing fake, phony things behind her back, then she probably has her reasoning for it. And she ended up saying that somebody sent her a screenshot of DJ Sky liking something messy about Taseki on social media, and she felt some type of way about it, and she confronted Sky about it on the bus, and Sky started saying that it wasn't real, it was fake, and that it was already debunked. But Chrisean is not believing it. She believes that DJ Sky really did like that messy post. So they start bickering back and forth. At one point, DJ Sky walked up close to Chrisean. Chrisean told her to walk up closer. DJ Sky did not walk up closer because she was scared. Chrisean walks over there and she pops DJ Sky right in the face. I knew this was going to happen between the two of them because we saw them fall out before, so it's not surprising to me. But the fact that DJ Sky kind of just sat there and let Chrisean pop her in the face. Now, I don't know if she tries to hit her next episode to get back at her for hitting her in the face, but it looked like she just sat there and let Chrisean pop her. If she just sat there and let Chrisean hit her in the face and she did nothing, she does not belong on Baddies. I don't care if she's just a DJ. If she's just a DJ, then she doesn't need to be on the buses or at any of the house meetings then if she's not going to do anything. But these are my thoughts on this week's episode of Baddies USA. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video.